Hey everybody, and welcome to a wacky wild ride with Steveo. We've got the hilarious Dusty Slay, a comedian who's completely on fire ever since his Netflix special dropped, and honestly, for a bunch of other reasons too. The guy's just plain hilarious. He's been killing it, and we worked together with him as my opener many moons ago, so this was a chance for us to reconnect and unveil the truth about calamari coming from pigs' buttholes. Yeah, dude. Get ready, and let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the universe, I bring to you Variety Magazine's comedian to watch, Dusty Slay.
All right.
Yeah, dude.
We're having a good time.
So this is the first time that we've seen each other since 2017.
That's true.
When you opened for me at the Stand Up Live Comedy Club in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, now it's called Levity Live. It's not even the same same owners, but switched names. And
wow.
Yeah. Well, that was a great weekend for me. I talk about it all the time. I was featuring, and I was selling CDs, and you had a huge merch line. So you let me stand next to your merch table. I sold more CDs than I probably ever sold to any show ever. I collected an email list. It was a big weekend for me. I was so pumped.
We're responsible for you blowing up on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much what you're saying.
Direct. All the people that I emailed, they emailed Netflix and made it happen.
Cool.
I was just there June of this year. Yeah. So they changed their name to Levity Live.
No, I think they were Levity. They were some kind of Levity because I remember the manager went to L.A. to do some sort of, because I think Levity's buying out a bunch of different clubs.
Okay.
And so they did a training over in L.A. But
and meteoric success since then, man. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thank you.
When was your Comedy Central special?
Well, I did a 7-minute set, probably 2018, probably shortly after that. Mm-hmm. I did a 7-minute set, and that did 5 million views. I mean, that was huge for me.
Yeah.
I actually thought, because it was only on the internet, I don't know, I thought, well, this is not going to be that big of a deal. It's like, I'm happy to be doing something for Comedy Central, but it's just on YouTube. And then it's my highest viewed thing I've ever had, as far as I know.
Yeah, well, Netflix won't tell you, huh?
Well, I mean, Netflix has done great things for me. It's like I went from clubs to theaters just after Netflix, so.
Congrats, man.
Pretty quickly, huh?
Yeah, I put my own special out on YouTube. I have, not really a special, it's just an hour of me doing comedy on YouTube. That's gotten almost 3 million views. So I thought, because it wasn't a Netflix special when I filmed it, I thought, well, I just filmed this, and if Netflix doesn't want it, I'll just put it on YouTube. But I was so happy that Netflix did want it because of that huge jump. Yeah, 3 million. I just hit 3 million. Look at that. Boom.
Okay. Help me understand this. So your Netflix special, you filmed independently and then sold to Netflix after the fact?
Yes.
And after it had already been on YouTube?
No. This one is one I put on YouTube. That's that's a one camera angle. Right. A guy shot it for me for free. It looks good.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the Netflix one, we put a lot of money into that.
I mean, you would have to because they've got their specs.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube would have been the consolation prize for me, but I felt like, well, my this one did pretty well. I think I could put the other one on there and it could do great too. But I'm so happy that Netflix took it.
Do you mind me asking what was the budget for the one that Netflix got?
Well, I don't know. I hate to say, but it was a shocking amount of money to me because I was putting up the money. So I was just like, wow, I mean, I've been working, I've been saving, and here we go. I'm about to put so much of that money into this special. Now, I was sold at Netflix, so I was able to, make the money back plus some, but I It's the shows that's really made the money back. I hate to say.
But you didn't know that it was going to get picked up by Netflix when you dished out the money.
Yes.
I can't
I had
help.
no idea.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I can't help but just be curious, and I'm not trying to beat you up to get you to say a number, but it's an interesting idea to imagine, like, what's the base level, lowest amount of money that can be spent on a special to meet Netflix's notoriously high level specs.
Well,
And-
this is what I'll say. I had no idea, and in my head, I had $20,000 in my head, and I was so wrong. I was so way off that it wasn't even like. Like if you go look for a car and you're like, oh, it's $30,000, and then it ends up being 40, you're like, well, it's still 10 grand more. But I was so off. I had no idea.
And that was you were deliberate about making sure that you met the specs that Netflix requires.
Yes. Yeah, because it's like, we want the option to sell.
Right.
If we don't do it, then I could get somebody to film, but it's like, I had a,
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, you got to bet on yourself, and that's the way to go.
Was there ever a moment where you were like second guessing yourself and putting up all that money?
Oh, so many times.
Yeah.
So many times. I got great management, and they really, they really talked me. They didn't talk me into it, but I was like, I'm going to put all this money up. I'm like, what if this thing doesn't do well? And they're like, we've never even considered that it won't do well.
I mean, with the track record that you had already established on YouTube with your comedy, I think that it would have been the move to make regardless. So I think it was a very low risk investment on your part. And what I'm curious about, Netflix had a very strict model.
Are you picking that?
Let's
that
close
up
that
a
door
little
there,
bit?
Scott. Netflix had a very strict rule
My
that
neighbor loves his grass here. Sorry. Netflix had a strict rule.
Netflix had a very strict rule that everything that they bought outright. They notoriously spent whopping sums of money to own it forever in perpetuity. And then they switched their model a few years back to where a little bit of a license deal, and the rights would revert back to you after like 3 years or something. Is that the...
Yeah, I mean, it's like, up until this point, almost right up until the point when I filmed a special, they were just, when I did a Netflix half hour, they brought me to New York City, they paid me money to do it, they spent all the money to do all the filming, and then so I was just kind of, and the
That
idea,
was when you were involved in like a series. It was like,
and the idea was like, if this half hour does well, you just kind of will get an hour, and this is how much money we'll pay you for the hour. And then all of a sudden it was like, that's not the deal anymore. That's not what happens anymore. So you did kind of have to bet on yourself. But yeah, it's like I got a licensing. I think it's 2 years for me.
okay.
And then if they want it again, they have the right
To renew the
just
license.
go, we'll renew it, but they have to pay again. And then the license will be 5 years. Which I hope they do. That would be great for me. But if not, I get it back and I can sell it to whoever I want, or if I want, just post it on YouTube.
Right.
But would they ever pay you to do another special, or would you have to come up with the money up front and it's a gamble?
I think that's going to come down to how well it performed for them on Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do another no matter what, but I kind of feel like I'm into the idea of doing it on my own now. Now I'm in thanks to the Netflix special, I'm in a different financial place, and I feel good about, I like the idea of owning it, if it, so.
I concur, man. I wanted to be on Netflix so bad, and I did the same thing. My special, I called it Gnarly, and I was so confident in it. I had gotten the whole cast of Jackass together for the first time in years and years. We filmed this unbelievable opening sequence where I was duct taped to a billboard truck, which was driven with me duct taped to the side, like all the way down the highway. And then like at all the stand up, I had footage edited in like in post to illustrate the stories that I was telling.
Oh, yeah.
And I hired an attorney to clear the or to write the fair use. Like it was like clear, like every little. But I paid the money to meet the specs of Netflix. Like every little like
Fair use of what
release.
though? If you're
They write a letter, an opinion letter. Like copyright attorney writes an opinion letter saying that the use of all of like where I told the Mike Tyson story, and I've got the footage from the Comedy Central roast. It was littered throughout this special was footage that I was using to illustrate the stories,
Gotcha.
and a lot of it was copyrighted material. So you get the attorney to write an opinion letter saying that everything being used here that's copyrighted is being used fairly and protected.
Gotcha.
So then that letter covers you. We dotted every I and crossed every T, and Netflix passed on it.
Oh, no.
So, given how explicit all of the multimedia stuff in it was, there was zero option for me to put it on YouTube, and so we built our own paywall system and monetized it with a pay-per-view system.
Oh, yeah.
Which now we have absolutely done away with, and you can just simply click play, and it will play on steveo.com.
Well, I don't know if it's the show that you were doing in Huntsville, but those stories were so great. I love that show. I watched your show several times that weekend.
It really means a lot to me to hear Dusty say that he enjoyed my show. I'm proud of my show. It is very dirty. What can I say? I'm a dirty comic. But my butthole is very clean, thanks to hellotushy.com. If you haven't tried a bidet, then you're really blowing it, man, because it is just time to stop smearing poop around on your butthole with toilet paper when you could properly clean it. Have a shower fresh feeling with your butthole. And it's so easy. And you can get 10% off your first bidet order if you go to hellotushy.com and use the promo code Stevo. I've always said hellotushy.com is my favorite sponsor of the Wild Ride podcast because I love my bidet. And you will too. Plus, they've got all different kinds. I mean, how much do you want to treat your butthole is the question. And you can answer it by going to hellotushy.com and using the promo code Stevo to get 10% off your first order of a bidet. You will thank me. Now let's get back to it. Man, thank you so much for that, dude. It means the world.
I still tell people this, and I don't know if I can say one of your jokes, but you were talking about just hanging out with Kid Rock, and you were like, he had the biggest pile of cocaine you ever saw, and he was like, we'll just chip away at it.
For sure.
And I love that. I think that's so funny.
Well, thank you, man. When it came time to film that special, that one particular bit, the celebrity cocaine stories, I was convinced to leave it out. They said, like, you know what, for your special, like throwing celebrities under the bus for doing stuff like that is not a good look. Don't do it. And so I omitted that from the special.
Oh, yeah.
And then years went by and I was like, man, I never did anything with that bit. So then I made it into a YouTube video. I reshot the bit. I hired an animator to animate Kid Rock and like let the stories come to life. And then I put it on YouTube where it's celebrity cocaine stories is sitting at like 10 million plus views on YouTube.
It's so great. I mean, yeah, the Lindsay Lohan stuff you had. I mean, all that stuff was so good and so funny. It's like, you know, when Jackass came out, I'm 42. It was like, this was like senior year of high school for me. This was Jackass and the Tom Green Show were what I was just soaking up.
Wow, 11.4 million.
Yeah. That's like Tales from the Tour Bus sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good fun, man. And again, thank you for that. We got our money back on the gnarly comedy special. We went ahead and doubled down. Netflix passed on the gnarly special, and I doubled down and started filming my next one, which was the bucket list. And I forget at which point. I think I did a reference cut, sent it to Netflix, and they were like, "Whoa, that one was a problem because I actually ejaculated on camera.
When Netflix passes, let's say on Gnarly, do they give you a reason why they pass, or they're just like, nah, we're good?
I can't remember because I wasn't in the room, and I don't think I was even in the room on the bucket list. But
When I've had people pass on things, they don't tell you. They never tell me why.
yeah,
I mean, I wrote an animated show for Hulu and during COVID, and they loved it. And then it was told that was about growing up in the trailer park, and then I was told that King of the Hill was coming back, and felt like it was too much of the same thing. So, and I love King of the Hill, so I hoped it would come back. I've still not seen it. It's like if you're gonna drop my show, at least bring it back.
Yeah, for sure.
But we had a great show. I love doing that stuff. I mean, that stuff is so fun. I like stand-up more than I like any of the other stuff, but it's fun to write things. You just gotta, especially animated, these things come to life, and I don't know. I think
So
it's
you
fun.
wrote the show? I mean, did you do like a reel or a trailer for it, or did you just like have a concept and you pitched them the concept?
We had art done, and then we wrote a script.
Yeah.
But so we went through all the pitch meetings, and we did all the thing. We had a studio.
how much pitch materials did you bring into the pitch? Was any of it actually animated, or was it just?
No, it was we had drawings.
Yeah.
But we had a packet. We had all the characters drawn. So we would go through. I had one of the writers. He wrote for Family Guy, and so he was in there to he was really filling in on the technical stuff, and I was making jokes. I like pitch meetings. I think they're really fun, like in person kind of. Because I don't know. I feel like they get stiff, and I don't know if you can bring some jokes in, they're into it.
Sure.
I always get laughs in pitch meetings. I think it's so fun because it's
Getting
so
laughs
awkward.
and getting deals are two different.
Well, yeah, that's true. I got a few. I got more laughs than I've gotten deals, but I got a few deals.
That's great, man.
So yeah.
Where was the Hulu meeting? Here in Nashville, or did you have to go out to LA?
No, I go out to LA to do it.
and you just go pitch a bunch of different networks.
Yeah.
They have like a pitch week.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been all over the place. It's so fun. I mean, because I love living in Nashville. I just want to live like a pretty normal life, and but it's fun to go to LA and bounce around to the networks, and
Sure.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in Nashville?
10 years.
10 years. And how long have you lived in this spot?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Alabama, left when I was 21. I moved to Charleston, South Carolina, where I lived for 10 years. I love Charleston. Then I moved here to pursue comedy, which was a weird move, I think, a lot of people think, but I wanted to work the road. And Nashville's a really central location for working the road.
That's why every tour bus company is
Yeah.
in Nashville.
And so, and I love country music. So I moved to Nashville, started working the road. I went full time in 6 months being in Nashville, and then so I've been
Full-time
meaning I was able to pay all the bills I had with comedy.
Wow.
Now I had very little. I paid off my car. I had really low rent. I had no family, no wife. So it was very low overhead.
A low bar.
Yes, but yeah, I was just hustling, featuring.
What was your vocation before going full-time in comedy?
Well, I sold pesticides to Lowe's and Home Depot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I also waited tables. But yeah, for 10 years, I sold pesticides to Lowe's and Home Depot.
And selling pesticides as a rep for a pesticide company?
Yeah, so it's a nationwide company, and then I go in and I build displays, and I try to get the store to order more stuff, and then I tear down the competition's displays, and I throw their displays in the trash compactor, and as my friend Greg Warren calls it, real dirt bag tactics. And
When you're going in and pitching these pesticides, are you throwing in jokes in there?
well, not back then. I mean, back then I was drinking a lot. I was hungover every day, and I smoked a lot of cigarettes, and I just felt miserable all the time. So I basically just roll in. I was bloated, and I just, I was still pretty good at the job, but I don't think anyone thought I was very funny.
Wow.
I mean, I think when people actually found out I did comedy as a hobby, they were like, oh, you're not even funny.
Not even enjoyable to be around.
And I'm like, yeah, I hate this job.
That's great, man. So you've been sober since 2012,
Yeah.
and comedy came before sobriety or as a result of sobriety?
Comedy came first. I started doing comedy about 2008. And, it was just, everything was just like, let's go do comedy. Let's drink while we do it. Let's drink after we do it. And it was just a party, All we were doing was, we were all working our day jobs, and then we go do comedy and drink. And then I quit drinking in 2012 because I felt so bad. I just was so miserable, and I quit drinking, and I started to feel good, and like comedy took off in a big way real fast. Like suddenly, I lost weight. I felt better. My head was clear. I could write better jokes, and it just took off so fast.
When you quit drinking, was it like just because it made sense and like, oh man, I should just quit drinking? Or was it like, I got to quit drinking and it was an ordeal and you had to like get help?
No, I really quit. Years ago, a guy I used to drink with who was an alcoholic gave me the big blue book from Alcoholics Anonymous. And I read the book, and that was, I still drank for like 4 years after that, but I read the book, and I was like, oh, because I always imagined alcoholism as like just movie alcoholism, like drinking alone, drinking in the morning. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's not me. I don't drink alone. I like to party, so I wasn't hanging out by myself, and I was always out at the bar. So I'm like, I'm just social. But then you start to read, and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stories like mine. Like I'm more of like a binge drinker. Like I'm fine to not drink, but a couple of beers and I'm like ready to go. And then there's no off switch. I'm blacking out. I'm throwing up. I'm losing friends, and I loved it. I mean, it was almost like an adrenaline rush to like get kicked out of a bar and real annoying stuff. I couldn't stand to be around myself now as a sober. I would hate myself as a drinker.
Yeah.
Were you drinking before you went on stage?
Well, I suppose having drinks before you get on stage is one way to prepare for a comedy show, but it's no way to prepare for going into the bedroom, and that is a fact. How do I prepare? Well, I take a bluechew tablet because it makes me perform at my absolute best. I mean that too. Like at my age, I even appreciate the help from bluechew. Take it about 30 minutes before I head on into the bedroom for some lovin', and man, is the lovin' good. If you think you want to try it, good news is you can get an entire month's supply completely for free. All you pay is $5 for shipping. And get a load of this, you don't even have to worry about a promo code anymore. It's just how it works. So head on over to bluechew.com and dive into this, man. You're going to perform at your best. You're going to be glad you did. You're going to have a really good time. bluechew.com for a month's supply of Blue Chew tablets, totally for free. All you pay is $5 for shipping. Now let's get back to it.
Because there's always like that, like, okay, I'm sober now. I don't want to get up in front of people, like the stage fright.
I would have a couple of beers, but I also would host open mics, so I would like, progressively throughout the show, I would get drunker as it went. I used to host trivia in these bars, and it'd be 2 hours. By the end of the night, I'm shotgunning beers in the kitchen, and by the end of the night, I'm struggling to do math and read the questions. People would go, "Quit drinking," and I'm like, that's why I'm doing this. So I'm getting paid to be able to drink. If but yeah, I mean, I would have a couple of beers, but after I quit drinking, I almost quit comedy because I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing now. I don't even know what I'm doing with my life.
Uncomfortable in your own skin.
But I just kept doing it, and then I was like, I'm actually so much better at this. I'm not really that uncomfortable up here. I mean, no more than I even still am now. I look so uncomfortable on stage, and I say that to people. I go, people say you look uncomfortable, and I'm like, yeah, well, I am. It's not natural to just be standing up here like this.
Yeah.
It just being like, hey, listen to me for a while. I don't do anything physical. I'm just standing there talking. So it's like, it's not a natural thing. Yeah. And it's like the everybody expects that you're just supposed to be comfortable and this is what you do. And I want you to hold the mic like this. And I want you to pace like this. And it's like, that's not how everybody does it. Everybody's got their own way. Well, that's what I like to say. I say, we're having a good time. I like to wave at the audience. I do that a lot. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to keep doing the joke where I have to set up what the wave means. So I feel like sometimes the audience, nobody knows why I'm waving, and I just I tell a joke, and then I just do this every time. But for me, it's its own little joke now. I just think it's fun. I think it's so ridiculous. I tell a joke, I wave, and then I wave to this side, and it's so silly.
Is that like an applause sign kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I tell people, I say, I like to wave like that. I do this a lot. I like to wave like this at the end of a joke, just to let you know the joke's over, A lot of times you'll know, because you'll be laughing, but other times I'll have to give you one of these. And so when I do the joke, and then it's so good. It's like you're almost like bomb proof. I don't want to say that because then I'll bomb my very next show. But yeah, when you let people know that you're going to wave after the joke, even if the joke bombs, you give it a beat, and then you do that, and they love it because they're like, you just admitted that your joke didn't work, and we love it.
It's fantastic, man.
I just think comedy is such a fun, artistic thing that you can really get into. You don't have to do it any specific kind of way. I don't have to run my jokes by anybody before I go do it. It doesn't have to be approved. I just go up and I say, I got a whole joke right now that I say, this joke never works. And then I tell the joke, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then I go, and that's the whole joke. And they love it. People love it because I've just admitted that it's not good, then told it with confidence, and then it wasn't good, and somehow they still enjoy it.
For sure.
Well, right. Truth in advertising.
Yeah.
And amen to all of that, dude. I love it.
Do you have a strenuous tour schedule now?
Well, I have 2 small kids, and so I just try to go. I do theaters now, so I just try to go out on the weekends, do a couple. I'm about to go to Portland. I'm going to do 2 shows in Portland and then 2 shows in Seattle, and then I'm back home. So I'm trying to do it like that, where I just do weekends, and then I get to spend the week at home with my family. And, while I'm home, I do a couple of different podcasts. I have my own podcast. I do Nateland podcast. And then I'll do, various shows here in Nashville. But
yeah, the Nateland one is you and Bargatze?
Yes.
And so you're presumably in very different locations, like.
Well, we have 4 people on the podcast now, so it's like we there's room for, if he's not there, it's the 3 of us. If I'm not there, so we can.
Oh, okay.
We're always in the same room, but we can just keep it rolling. Even if one of us is gone, and Nate's been gone a lot, which I love Nate, but I don't mind, because if Nate's there, it's my time to shine. Yeah. So I feel good. You know what I mean? Like. But yeah, but when we're all back on kind of a rare occasion, it's a fun podcast,
Of the 3, you've got the one that you do with your wife.
Yes.
And you've got one you just do on your own?
No, I do one with my wife, but my wife, she used to do comedy, and she actually hosted for you one time at Zany's years ago. Yeah. And, yeah, she's quit comedy now. And so she kind of dips in. She does her own Instagram thing, and she'll be on the podcast for a while, and then she'll be like, I'm tired of doing that, and I'll just run it myself. That's the We're Having a Good Time podcast.
All right, so that's the one that you do on your own, effectively. Then
yes.
The one with Nate, and what's the third one?
No, that's just the 2, and then I'll do various others. Just random kind of things.
Like Wild Ride?
Yeah, like Wild Ride, yeah. Which is the most convenient podcast I've ever done. Other than my own house. It's like, I do my podcast in my own house, but this is in my front yard.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
This is just banging on the door to the most convenient.
And I'm sorry that my neighbor had to cut his grass today. He loves his grass.
I'll curse him until the day I die, but at least he seems to be done.
Yeah.
Now, when you go out to Portland, and you've got 2 shows, so that means that you sold out a show and added a show.
Yes.
So you got 2 shows in one night in Portland, and then the very next night, you've got 2 shows in Seattle.
Yeah.
Another added show situation.
Yeah, which my shows sell well, but that's particularly well for me to sell out the first show and add another. But I do well in Portland and Seattle.
I've always done well in Portland.
They really get jokes, and they're really into it. I love to go there.
Yeah.
Portland's a little scary for me now. It used to, in 2017 when I went, was really fun. Yeah. But now it's a little scary, but the comedy's still good.
It's a lot scary. I mean, and specifically because didn't they I don't know if it's all of Oregon or just Portland, but didn't they do an experiment with like full legalization or decriminalization of all drugs? No
I
matter,
think so.
Yeah.
So like
And the crime rate went completely skyrocketed.
we were there. I don't even know if we had a show specifically in Portland, but it was while we were touring with BAM. We were in Portland maybe on a day off or something, and like, oh, I got to take a leak. You go into a public bathroom, and there's just people just shooting up in the
wow.
bathroom.
Well, not
like,
even in the bathroom, on the side of the streets, and
Right in front of Patagonia.
Yeah.
I
everywhere
videotaped
you
some guy.
look,
Yeah.
people are just blow torches, just cooking.
Foil.
and all the stores that we went into, their doors were locked, and they had to unlock them to let us in.
Wow.
and lock them behind us. It was.
It was a
gnarly.
very, very, very upsetting,
Yeah.
alarming, seemingly unsuccessful experiment in decriminalizing Class A narcotics.
I mean, what's their thought process behind that?
I don't know, but
I think the idea is that, well, if people are just allowed to do it,
go back up.
They'll
and
do it in
what-
the
what-
safety
what
of their
March
own
of
home.
what
Yeah.
But
year?
it's not the case. And they're actually like handing out drugs on the street.
yeah.
You want to read that out loud?
Democratic controlled legislature, those liberal pussies, passed the recriminalization law in March, overhauling a measure. Oh, so the liberal pussies are the ones that overturned it?
I think they changed it back now. I think now they've
Yeah.
been like, let's.
They're like, this
They said,
is kind
let's
of
not do that
pretty
ever again.
ridiculous.
Because 2017 Portland was really fun. There were a few tents here and there, but that was my first trip there. I loved it. I walked around the city. I bought legal weed, and I was like, I had never been to a place with legal weed. I was like, this is great. I loved it. I did the Bridgetown Comedy Festival. It was so fun. And then I went 2 years ago maybe, and I was like, whoa, I went to walk around. I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to hang in my hotel.
Right.
Yeah, it's super gnarly.
When you go back this time, how are you going to get from Portland to Seattle?
I've rented a car, so I'll just rent a car, drive to my hotel, and then the next day go to Seattle, which I'm excited about. I mean, Oregon and Washington are such beautiful places. I mean, I love
Pacific
the
Northwest.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
like. Even the last time I left, I did another show out at Corvallis, Oregon. Maybe I did a show outside, and you get outside of Portland. I mean, Oregon is just a beautiful place.
Yeah. Well, once you get out of liberal cities, it's pretty safe and nice. Is kind of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, things get wild.
I
you
said
know?
it. Am I wrong? New York's a shithole. Los Angeles is a shithole. Can we name some more liberal cities?
Nashville's pretty liberal. It's not a shit.
Is it?
I think, yeah, Nashville is liberal, but, Nashville has a good balance.
But Nashville's not doing like liberal policies.
As I understand it, Tennessee is a red state, but Nashville is a blue city.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Seattle is kind of a shithole.
But, Nashville has a good balance. I think it's...
Scott's firing shots.
Am I wrong? It's like everybody's moving out of the left-leaning places and they're going to the right-leaning
Nashville
places.
is pretty much liberal and has been for a long time.
Is Austin a shithole?
It's compared to the rest of Texas.
Austin has
Like
a
crime
weird
rates.
kind of
I'm talking
homeless
like
problem.
crime rates.
Austin, it feels like it's a weird kind of homeless thing happening there where nobody bothered me. I just was there. Nobody bothered me. I love doing comedy there. It's so fun. I did the Mothership, did a weekend there. It was really great. But yeah, it's like there's like at night, there's like guys passed out all over the street. Just I mean, if I were still drinking, I think 6th Street would be a real good time for me. But I'd probably end up killed somewhere. It was nice. It's good that I drank in a good, friendly city like Charleston. It's just everybody's just happy and having a good time, and you can be annoying there and not get killed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now it's like you go get fucked up and then somebody has some blow and you do it, but it's like, who knows if it's fentanyl these days? That's like...
That's the
Crazy
drug
thing.
talk I give my younger relatives now. I go, used to be, you could just have a good time with a little cocaine. Now you do it and you die.
Yeah, you had the talk. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if I was doing cocaine and I was worried about like fentanyl, I'd have like my buddy go first and just be like, you go first. And how long do you have to wait for that shit to know if it's fentanyl or not? Or would you even know? I mean, I feel like you would know.
Yeah, you would know.
Dude,
if he's
never mind.
right
I
away.
would get some fentanyl strips.
Just have your buddy
Make
test
sure
it
my
out
buddy
before you.
doesn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty nice to have gotten out of the game before fentanyl really took
Yeah,
off.
for sure.
I mean, Vinny, when you were scoring drugs, like how often would you get like a bad, like when you're like, oh
I
my god,
got
I didn't pay.
sober before fentanyl came in the picture, so I didn't really have
But
to
you
worry
were
about
doing
that.
fentanyl.
Just a couple times towards the end, and I never really had an issue with it. I think my tolerance was so high at that point that it just really didn't fuck with me.
Well, I had a buddy who I just ran into. We used to drink together, and I've not seen him in 12 years. And he told me he was doing a lot of stuff and wanted to try fentanyl and did the
Really?
tiniest amount. And he said he OD'd and almost died.
The tiniest
It's
amount.
50%. It's 50 times more powerful than heroin.
Yeah. That joke you said the other day about I'm not worried about overdosing, I'm worried about underdosing. So good.
The dreaded underdose.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. So okay, when did the Working Man Netflix special drop?
January of this year.
January of this year.
Yeah, so it was, I think it was January.
When was it
I think
taped?
so. It taped in May of 2023. It took a while because it was a bit of a process of first, we went
Sure.
through the editing, and then you went through selling it, and then you went through finding out when it was going to drop. And then that picture, that's a pretty sultry looking picture of me
Yeah,
there, isn't
right.
it?
I was just thinking,
yeah.
what a piece of ass.
Yeah, but yeah, and I mean, it really changed the game. I mean, it's like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I always expect one thing is just gonna pop and everything's just gonna blow up. But it's like, I did the Tonight Show and I did Jimmy Kimmel first, and I thought, all right, this is gonna be it. And it almost did nothing for me at all. Almost nothing at all.
Jimmy Kimmel.
It's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
With the talk shows.
And then I did the Tonight Show, and I thought, all right, this is it. Now, it did move it a little bit. I got my agent, I got my management with the Tonight Show. And
Did you get a dedicated YouTube video for your set on Jimmy Kimmel? You want to talk about dedicated? I am going crazy for exercise and fitness like never before. And I have a dedicated community on my Whoop app. And if you don't know what Whoop is, it's this fitness tracking device that I wear, the most sophisticated fitness tracking device known to man. And they've got an app that goes with it, which tells you everything that's going on with your body, your sleep, your recovery, how many calories you're burning, what kind of exercise you're doing. Gives you like attainable goals and just documents everything. Plus there's a whole community, and I've now got my own group, so everybody knows how I slept and like how much exercise, how many calories I burned. We all know. And it's this bitchin' community where everyone's just encouraging each other to be healthier and fitter. Man, I love my Whoop so much, and you can try it for an entire month for free. Plus that means that you'll get the actual device that goes on your wrist with the waterproof charger that slides onto it, like for free. You sign up, you get automatic access to my Whoop community for free, your first month for free. If you don't love it, you just send it back, and it was all completely for free. To get this, you go to join.whoop.com/Stevo. And I'm in there posting my daily exercises with maps. I'm actually drawing dicks by riding special routes on my bicycle that make a dick on a map. It's so much fun. And we're all in there just chatting, and it's epic. So one more time, go to join.whoop.com/Stevo to become a part of my community. And let's get fit, man. Let's be healthy. And let's get back to it.
it is on YouTube, yeah. And now, to be fair, it was not my best performance, but I thought even still, just a credit will move the needle some. They're great jokes, but I had some bad advice on how to practice a late night. I had my manager at the time, different than the one I have now, was telling me to kind of do a little bit of the set, get the crowd warmed up, and then break, and then do your 5 minutes, and then do the rest of your set. So that's how I was preparing. So I never opened with these jokes. I never opened with them. And then Jimmy Kimmel at the time, they would have all the audience in one room watching the celebrities, and then they stand them up and move them to a different room to watch you do 5 minutes of comedy. So which apparently was 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So it's basically a cold audience because they just moved to a new room, and then I've never opened with those jokes. So it took me that whole set to really get them into what I was doing. Then it ends well. With the Tonight Show, I was like, all right, new plan. When I learned I got the Tonight Show, I'm like, I'm opening with this 5 minutes every show I do until I do the Tonight Show. And I came out hot, ready to go. And that Tonight Show is...
Wow, how much advance notice did you have before going on the Tonight Show?
Maybe a month, maybe a month and a half.
So a month of rigorous...
Oh, yeah. And I was back at Stand Up Live. I was opening for John Lovitz, 2-man show.
Wow.
So I was like, this is perfect. I'm going out to a cold audience anyway, and so I get to see how this 5 minutes will work.
What was the Lovitz crowd like?
Well, it's hard to say. I opened for him. I did 3 weekends with him, and some show, like the first show I ever did with him, I was so excited. I love John Lovitz movies and stuff, so I was so excited. And he had a really bad set. Like, I was like, oh gosh. Like, I was like, this is rough. This is going to be a rough weekend. And then the other 4 shows, he got standing ovations after every show. So I don't know what.
So same material, different response.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it wasn't bad material. You were just like, wow, this is a rough crowd.
Yeah. I don't know what happened that night. And then.
And when was that? Because I know Lovitz only started doing stand-up like pretty late in the game.
That would have been 2018.
Okay, so he'd been at it.
Yeah. But, it's a pretty good show, but it was like maybe 2017 when I did it the first time with him. But Stand Up Live was 2018. And yeah, it was, we would go out to eat every night. It's funny. It would be me and the manager sitting on one side of the booth and John Lovitz and his dog on the other side of the booth.
Hell yes.
And then he would get his dog a little bowl of chicken, and we were just,
Fuck yeah,
it's
dude.
fun. He's a weird guy, but he's so fun. He's such a nice guy.
He is absolutely delightful, man.
Yeah.
There's an Instagram account I follow. It's like Ray Keogh, something or other, but it exclusively posts like red carpet photos and like photos from events like throughout the decades. 1980s, 70s, 90s, you name it. And going back as far as like 1986, like there are seemingly very few events that were not attended by John Lovitz.
Wow.
And this account always saves John Lovitz for the final slide.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just like the little treat that you get at the end, I always heart it no matter what because I just enjoy the account. But when there's John Lovitz, I comment. I only comment if John Lovitz is on the final slide, and it's always a different comment, like, hallelujah.
Thank God.
Thank God. Like, the boost I needed. It's so much fun. And, yeah, it's great. It's almost like that whole account is like a John Lovitz fan page. It's really good.
Dude, that's so funny you said that because I saw my brother and he was like, dude, is this Steve commenting on, because he'll show me the front post and he's like, it'll say Steve-O and it'll be like, hallelujah. He's like, bro, Steve comments like this on that? I'm like, I don't know. Now it makes sense that it's the John Lovitz. I can't wait to tell him that.
I only comment like never explicitly. This is the first time I've ever like revealed what, but it's obvious. Like I only comment if John Lovitz is included. I never name John Lovitz. Like it's always just like
my brother. It's gonna change my brother's life.
Yeah, I've never written the same thing.
Is it under your name?
Oh, yeah.
Comment? Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
like,
to comment.
He's like, did Steve get hacked or something? I'm like, no, why? He's like, bro, the guy's saying hallelujah. Like, that's not like Steve to say that on a. And it's not even. It's like some photo of whatever it was. I'm like, I don't even know why
the
the
top
fuck.
slide's never John Lovitz. I always save him for he's the payoff at the end.
I love that he's just been around that long and he's
Dude.
at all these events. He's
86.
just yeah.
Like, I think 1986. What was John Lovitz's first season on Saturday Night Live?
But you said he didn't get into the stand-up game until recently. But like, isn't that how he got his started in the 70s or 80s?
Not even. He got on Saturday Night Live.
But how did he get on Saturday Night
He
Live?
was in a league of their own.
As in an
fucking
acting
City Slickers?
capacity.
Yeah, I mean he's
1985 to 1990 he was on
he's a
SNL.
real actor, you know. He's
But don't
Right.
you get picked up for
Okay,
SNL in the
when
back of
did
the
he
day
start
for
doing-
comedy?
When did he start doing stand-up? Not before, I don't think, 2008.
You could probably
And,
ask ChatGPT. You'd be a lot quicker.
Ask ChatGPT. How do you ask ChatGPT stuff?
Just go on ChatGPT.com and say, when did John Lovitz get into stand-up?
But do
What
you
if
know
I
it's
what if
true?
I hold down my my thing? on
Siri
my
won't
watch?
do it.
And I've got 2003. His stand-up career began in 2003 at the Laugh Factory
Wow.
in Los Angeles.
I love that you really hated on Siri like that. You're like, she won't do it.
Yeah.
She won't do anything. you ask her to
ChatGPT
do.
is so much better because, like, I guess you could do that, but you can say, Siri, ChatGPT, can you write me a workout to where I can lose 40 pounds by
Is
December?
ChatGPT better than Siri?
You go, ChatGPT, what's a workout to look like John Lovitz?
Eating.
Siri's really taking her time on is ChatGPT
She
better
can't
than
even
Siri?
compute. But, like, you can ask ChatGPT anything and it'll just answer quicker. It's just AI versus.
Wow, that jammed her up.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I like that a lot, man. What's a good workout to look like John Lovitz?
Yeah, I mean, if you're just going to ask ChatGPT questions, like, you know, get wild with it. See what they say.
Yeah, what uses have you utilized AI for?
I don't really use it at all. I got my social media team to get me some pictures of cowboys fighting bikers for a video that I did, but I don't use it at all. I don't know. I got buddies that make posters and I don't want to put them out of work, you know. I still get them
Right.
to make my posters and
Zach Townsend's poster guy is fantastic. We got him to make a graphic for us. So
this
okay.
is not my normal poster guy, by the way. Just
So the
that one is my guy. Yeah.
Look at that hair.
So the Working Man special was taped in, you said, May of 2023.
Yes.
And it didn't come out until January of 2024. So by the time it came out, you got a whole new hour.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I got a new hour that I'm doing now, but yeah, I had about an hour and a half before I taped it. So I had a half hour that I could kind of roll into the next. And so that's what I'm trying to do now. My plan is to film another special at the end of February. So I'm like, but I'm ready to go. It just works out with the venue that it's best to do February. But
Oh, so you've already scheduled your next special taping.
yeah. So I don't know what kind of deals my management might have, but I have plans to just move forward with funding it myself, and then I own it. And then if somebody wants to buy it, great. If not, I mean, I'm sure someone will buy it. But if not, I feel good to just put it on YouTube. Because I just want to sell tickets. That's all I really want. So as long as you give people something new to watch, they'll get fired up and then they'll come see your show. And that's all I want to keep doing. Just keep putting out stand-up specials, keep doing comedy.
How many shows did you tape to get one special?
I did 2 shows.
2 shows. Same with the next one you got going on in February. You're going to do 2?
2 shows, one night. The first show went so good that I was like, we could just use that if all. So what I did was I trimmed a lot of my jokes down for that first show because I was like, let's just kind of hit the hot spots, you know. And then once I had it, I was like, well, the second show I'm going to go loose and I'm going to do the longer versions of some of these jokes. And then I used a lot of those longer versions in the thing because I got a long thing where I talk about the restaurant Western Sizzling. And I was like, that may be too many Western sizzling jokes. But then I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's go. Because where are they going to go? Where are the jokes going to... If I trim them all off, I can't do just little tags from my Western sizzling joke somewhere else.
Right.
I was like, let's put it all out there.
That's great, man. And
Shortly,
2020 hindsight, you're glad that you did.
I am glad that I did. Shortly after, the Western sizzling in my hometown was bought by someone else and bulldozed to the ground. It had been open for like 40 years, and then I did one joke about sweat in the green beans, and the restaurant closes and gets bulldozed to the ground. So
Is that your fault?
I don't know. I feel bad about it, though. I feel like that's it. Yeah, down there, the Opelika, that's it right there. That's my old one I used to work at. And yeah, I just did a joke about a guy refilling the green beans and sweating into the green beans while he's pouring it in, and then shortly after, it shuts down, and
I mean, it's a good point, dude. Like that, you can wear a hairnet all day long,
yeah,
but that's not holding back all the sweat dropping off you.
yeah.
I don't think that's even specific to Western sizzling. That's a concern that I have everywhere now.
I think so, yeah. And you know, it's like I always say, people go, oh, I'll never eat the green beans at Western Sizzling again. I'm like, let's not kid yourselves. You're not eating green beans at Western Sizzling. You know, you're eating yeast rolls and fried fatback, and, you know, you're not eating green beans.
Well, it's also true that, like, you know, if you eat hot dogs...
Yeah.
Like, who cares what's in the hot dog? Like,
right.
What matters is the hot dog is delicious. That really is how I always felt about hot dogs. Who cares what's in them as long as they taste good? But when it comes to packages that you're shipping to paying customers, let's pay very close attention to what's in there. Let's give them the right thing, and let's get it to them immediately, right? Or as close to immediately as possible. And how do you do that? You do that with ShipStation. You build an audience online, you're selling them stuff, and you're shipping the stuff to them. The easiest way to make all of that happen is ShipStation. It takes all of the different ways of shipping goods, FedEx, United States Postal Service, UPS, like all in one interface with all the different ways to sell your goods. If it's Etsy, Amazon, your own website, eBay, and it all just goes together in the most easy to use interface with the best shipping prices available, period. And it's so easy. When you make your sale, you print out the label, you slap it on the box, you put the correct item in the box, and it's out the door. You've done your fulfillment. And if you want to try this absolutely for free for 60 days with no risk whatsoever, you go to shipstation.com and use the promo code steveo. I mean, here we are with the holidays coming up. It is definitely time to figure out how to take advantage of this holiday selling season by signing up for this right now. Again, it's shipstation.com. Use the promo code steveo for a risk-free 60-day trial, which is absolutely free. It's time to make ship happen, folks. And it's time to ride this baby all the way home.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you get too into, if you ever cut open like a sausage dog, like cut the skin off, it gets ugly quick in there.
Isn't it just all the waste products of like at a farm?
They say buttholes and
horse hooves.
Yeah. I mean, I don't eat meat anyway. I eat seafood, that's it.
Someone told me calamari, they can use like the, whatever you would call like the tube of the anus of like a pig.
Wow.
They can use that as calamari.
No.
Don't tell me that.
And maybe
The anus?
Don't tell me
You have to kill so many fucking pigs to get a whole, just a plate of
Calamari is my
calamari.
favorite.
what about calamari?
yeah, there you go.
The tube,
Yeah.
the tube of the anus of the cow. Man.
I don't
Okay.
know if that's true. A guy told me that though.
So you've got 2 kids, and how long you been married?
Oh gosh, I've been married 7 years.
What's your wife's middle name?
Well, I just was reading this that I was correct, and it's scary.
Wow,
That's true.
calamari
Wait,
made
hold on
of-
a second.
Okay, is calamari made of pig rectum?
Oh,
Rectum. You know those deep-fried chewy rings of calamari? Sure. Well, they're sometimes served in imitation form made from slices of a pig's rectum.
I'll never eat calamari again.
Just go, is this imitation or real?
Hey, how about this?
You
Like
just
that-
ruined me eating calamari.
Okay,
You
well,
ruined Western sizzling.
What was that Netflix documentary about the guy who just doesn't even give a shit about his son because he's so busy becoming friends with an octopus in the
Oh yeah, my octopus teacher.
My
Yeah.
octopus teacher, the
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
was like the worst parent you've ever heard of.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck off, kid. Dude, you're on your own, kid.
That's what you got from that movie, besides the
Yeah.
beautiful story
That
between
sounds like
man and
Rocky
nature.
V.
You have to cook your own lunch today, kid. I'm off with my actual friend. It's a fucking octopus. And I think a lot of people stopped eating calamari because of that. Scott? No. It's the pig's butthole.
I don't want to eat a pig's butthole ring.
I know, but I mean, here's the thing, dude. What's
Deep fried.
I mean, I won't eat menudo because it's cow stomach, right? I mean, isn't that the whole deal with menudo? Is that funny? I don't know.
Does anybody else did you guys watch The Octopus Teacher?
I thought it was a beautiful story. I never thought once of the guy's kid.
Yeah, neither did he.
Yeah, have you seen it?
This is the first I've ever heard of it.
This guy falls on the octopus and the man fall in love with each other. I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy story.
Sounds like the kid's, it's really working out well for the kid.
Yeah.
The kid it's better that he's not best
kid
friends
hung
with.
himself after this video came out.
Sounds like the kid dodged a bullet to me
Yeah,
with
dude.
this guy, this dad that.
So, okay, now you're catching a flight today. Is that the flight out to Portland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, I've been I don't want my wife to listen to this podcast and think I just grace about you. We've been married 7 years. I got 2 kids. I love my wife.
What's her middle name?
Yeah.
I love my wife.
Yeah. No, I do. It's great. I like the kind of life that I've been able to create. It's really fun. 10 years ago or 12 years ago when I was drinking, I never would have thought that I'd be living like I am right now, and I'm very happy about it.
Unbelievable, man. How long were you engaged for?
Almost no time. My wife's Canadian, right? And
Okay.
she moved down. She had a work visa, moved down, and I think it's kind of a pretty unromantic, but also like the most romantic type of thing where we kind of came to the end of her work visa. I never thought I would get married. I had no real. I didn't understand why I would get married. Why would I not just
It's
be
kind of like
dating?
filing a lawsuit against yourself.
Right. Right. But we came to the end of the work visa, and we were basically in this place where she was like, well, either we get married or I have to go home. And then I had to ask myself, do I want her to go home or do I want to be married to her the rest of my life?
Is it a situation the turnaround time is that quick?
I think we kind of did it at the deadline of when it needed to be done. Like, it wasn't like we didn't wait till the expiration of the visa. It was kind of like, this needs to happen now or I need to go home. And I'm like, well, I don't want her to go home. I want to be with her.
What part of Canada is she from?
She's from Ontario. She lived in Toronto for 10 years, but she's from a place called Peterborough, Ontario.
Peterborough.
So she's a good person.
Yeah, she is a good person, yeah.
And
Canadians are good people. They're quality people.
I guess most of them. I don't know. I'm hearing that they're not all good people.
Fair enough.
Touche.
that's funny, man. I mean, who knows what motivates people's actions? Who knows? Like we don't know the whole story. I'm sure that there's a perfectly valid and reasonable explanation for everything that happens. That nothing was less than like full integrity.
Don't look at me. Yeah.
And if it had drug out longer, it might be worse for you. So it's like, man,
Yeah,
that's good.
I
We
dodged a
ended when
bullet.
it ended, and
Yeah.
Vinny just kept forcing her to eat his ass. He likes to get rim jobs.
Vinny's a
well,
big
that changes
fan.
the whole thing. That changes the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
My glasses
dude.
are fogging up.
they call it fellatio. Like that's like when someone gives you head. What is it for?
Rim job.
For
It's called
A rusty trombone.
What's the scientific term?
Ask ChatGPT.
What did you Pontius call it?
I don't know.
Oh my god, it was so good.
Ask ChatGPT. What's the scientific term for a rim job?
Tossing the salad. I think
Tossing.
is what they
Yeah, that's
call
scientific.
What is the scientific term for
Psychopathia sexualis.
also analingus? Analingus.
yeah,
And then cunnilingus is the
analingus. Siri coming through.
yeah.
Yeah.
ChatGPT can suck Siri's.
Oh, come on.
Siri's crushing it today. Yeah.
What to know about rimming? What does it say that? What
analingus?
do we need to go up one? What to know about rimming?
So Vinny loves analingus. he loves to be on the receiving end of it
And the giving.
and the giving.
The giving end of it, yeah.
And he actually will give a partner a
Standard
firm,
procedure. That's what
standard
it was called.
procedure. Vinny will give his partners firm head massages to that end.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well,
Vinny's out here shoving heads to get his bull eaten.
I feel like
Is
You know what?
rimming
We
safe?
shouldn't have that. It's going to give us a ding.
How to talk to your partner about getting a rim job?
I like
Wait,
the other
what?
terms that they had.
Consent
Yeah.
and clear communication are key to making any sexual activity safe and enjoyable for those involved. Consent is an enthusiastic and definite agreement. Is this like,
Are they interested in trying?
yeah.
How much pressure? How about zero amount? I think is what you're looking for.
Vinny, what pressure do you like?
How much pressure do you push that head with?
1 through 10, maybe a 6.
Yeah. only like 15 pounds.
How to prepare for rimming? Do you prepare, Vinny, for rimming,
I
or do
sure
you just
do.
after?
I shower, I clean up.
Really?
Yeah.
Just after
about
you eat
it, though.
calamari at fucking.
This really gets
Do you
into
check
it. I
for
like
any
this.
cuts or sores around the anus? Oh man, it did get hot in here.
Yeah, they're not doing the.
Yeah. Well, shit. I mean, dude. So what else should we be asking you? Help us here.
Yeah, I mean, comedy's great. I got a lot of stuff happen. I got, I don't know if I can talk about, but I'm kind of loosely working on a TV show, just started. And a script. So it's another deal. I got some laughs and turned into a deal.
Okay, but what type of deal? Because there's the deal between you and a production company, which is the shopping deal. So then you can go take it out. Like, sounds like you found a home for it.
Yeah, we got it. I think we've got a little bit of everything now. We got all of those things lined up.
Is it a pilot deal? Are we going straight to series?
I don't know about that. We got to write a script, so we got to write but the idea they like me. I went in. We had a. I love to go into these meetings with a trucker hat on. And then I'm across the table from a bunch of very well-dressed executives. That's always so much fun for me. And I just tell them about selling pesticides and growing up in a trailer park, and they love it. It's like they've never heard anything like it, and it's very fun for me. So, so I've had one sitcom that I wrote for ABC about growing up in a trailer park, and then I had another animated series for Hulu about growing up in a trailer park. So now I finally got people to go for a new idea. I think they still want me to live in a trailer in the show, which I'm okay with. But
what's the difference between a trailer park and an RV park?
like a RV would be like what you have here, where it's very mobile. You can just crank it up and drive away. A trailer, it's on wheels, but like a mobile home. Like you really, it takes a lot.
More of a
to
storage
move it.
container.
It's a double wide.
Not a double wide. They do have those, but even a single wide mobile home, it's like it's still a wide load for the road.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a single wide 2-bedroom trailer. I grew up with my mom and 2 sisters, and that's
in Alabama.
In Alabama, Yep, in a town called Opelika, Alabama.
It's a lot easier to get caught jacking off in a single wide, huh?
It is.
Growing up.
It is. Thankfully, my mom worked third shift.
Did you grow up in L.A.?
Lower Alabama. Yeah, not everybody knows that.
I
Lower
know.
Alabama. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm about midway. I'm like,
I did some shit in L.A.
I'm right next to Georgia. I'm about an hour and a half from Atlanta, right next to Columbus, Auburn University, any of those places. Lower Alabama, Mobile's a lot of fun. You've been there, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, Mobile's fun.
Are you a big supporter of Auburn when it comes to college football?
Yeah, I like Auburn. It always gets complicated for me. I like both Auburn and Alabama, which people claim that you can't do. But I'm like, why would I not cheer for both of my home state teams, you know? I want them to both win. And then if it comes down to the Alabama-Auburn game, I'm like, who has the chance to go to the national championship?
Who's gonna do more for the state of Alabama?
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like, and people act like I'm trying to ride coattails or whatever you call bandwagon.
All
And I'm
right.
like, I'm not out here being like, this is us. I'm Auburn. I'm
Right,
like,
you're an Alabama guy.
I just cheer for the teams.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm like, and people they can't handle it, but.
It's so funny. It's like like with the vegan people. Like if if I really care about animals and I go help rescues and like shelters and this and that. I haven't eaten any meat other than seafood for 16 years now. I'm just cruel bastard because I eat fish.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It doesn't matter. And you got all these vegans like warring against other animal rights people because they're not animal rights enough. And that kind of is what's going on here. Like you're an animal. Can't we all just be Alabama people? But the Auburn people, if you support Crimson Tide, then you're not.
But, sometimes I say I like to cheer for Alabama as long as I'm not watching with other Alabama fans. I think there is this thing where when you live in the state, it's like your Alabama's like the older brother that's beating up on you all the time. And once in a while you beat them, but most of the time they're beating up on you. So you do have these cocky Alabama fans that are like, Auburn sucks, we're the best. And I grew up, in Auburn. I say, I have a joke. I say, where I come from, you're either an Alabama fan or you went to college, and Auburn fans love it. And then I go, but hey, I didn't go to college, so roll tide, and it's a joke for everybody. Everybody loves it except for the people in this RV. And
You didn't raise your hand. You didn't raise your hand.
yes, exactly. But it's a real hit. I did that joke in Georgia right after Georgia won the national championship, and I almost ended with the joke, and I'm like, I should have started with this joke. This really opened my whole setup. I was like, this is where it's at. Cool. People get fired up. In Chattanooga, they don't even want you to, a comedy club there, the Comedy Catch, they don't even want you to talk about college football because you're like really close to Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee right there. So it's like you get a lot of fans of all, and they've had fights over college football in the club.
We did the first comedy club I ever did with Scott was the Catch in Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we met the Moudini.
That's where we met the great Moudini.
Oh,
Yeah.
Moody Malavi?
No, Michael Mooney.
Michael, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
He's the sweetest guy in the world. Well, gosh dang darn it, Dusty Slay, man. Meteoric success since we saw you last.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean, I appreciate you guys having me. I mean, this is great. I mean, you guys are great. I appreciate you coming here. For sure. I mean, this is so fun. I got to learn about how the immigration process can go differently than it did for me. And I learned a lot about analingus here. I didn't know all those things. And
dude.
I didn't know there was advice on how to get someone to do it, and
there's actually dedicated websites on how to get someone to eat your butt.
Yeah. How much pressure should you apply? You know?
Obviously, Vinny applied a little too much pressure. Yeah, I mean, how many pounds of pressure does it take to break a neck? I mean,
3.
oh yeah, well,
But I'm on the internet. I'm on at Dusty Slay on all social medias, and I'm always posting stuff. I try to mix it up, but I'm always posting podcast clips, and it's all just comedy. Everything is just comedy with me. There's no, there's no messages from me. I may talk about how food is poison a lot, but that's about it.
yeah.
I think our food is bad, and we're all dying. But
Our food is illegal in like the rest of the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're all like, I know people that they go to other countries. It doesn't even matter what country it is. They go there, they eat like people I know just went to Italy. They were eating like they eat here. They were like, I lost weight. I felt better. My friend went to Germany. He said he was drinking the whole time and he lost weight. Yeah. And then he came home and he's like, well, I guess I'll just drink beer to lose weight. And he's like, instantly, I'm getting fat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that's the case. And the ingredients in the food, the wine, the beer.
Yeah.
All very, very at the core of it. All right, man. Well, dude, we're stoked to see you. We're rooting for you. We're very proud of your success. And God damn it, get out there and kill them in Portland, kill them in Seattle, and come back home to your family.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Don't push too hard.
I know. You can't do it.
All right, brother.
Yeah, this was fun.
All right, awesome.
Thank you. Dude, that really was great. There you have it, Dusty Slay. Hope you guys had as good of a laugh as we all did on that one. That was just a good time. And speaking of good times, I'm out on the road on my Super Dummy tour. Tonight, I'm in Grand Rapids. As this drops tomorrow, where the hell are we going to be?
Newark, Ohio.
Oh, Newark, Ohio. Oh, man, tomorrow's a banger. It's a huge show tomorrow in Newark, Ohio. And whatever, find my dates at steveo.com. Catch me on the road. The show's a blast, and it's just gotten better and better and better. Oh, and Moon Pie's in the show now, too. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for sticking around to the end, and maybe shoot Dusty Slay some love too. He would certainly appreciate that. Thank you, everybody.